All right, hey Vikings fans, welcome in to another episode of the Skol Hop. I'm Evan.
And I'm Austin.
We're just a couple of dudes from Iowa. We like drinking beer, talking about the Vikings.
Yeah, we do. And the beer we tried tonight was really, really good from Reunion Brewery. I loved it a lot.
Yeah, super good beer. We also hit on just a few training camp talkers. Nothing major, but a few little things coming out from camp.
Yep. And then after that, we give our annual, ever-anticipated game-by-game prediction of the Vikings schedule for 2025. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely a highlight episode for us every year, one that we've done now all 3 seasons that we've done the Skol Hop for. Make sure you check it out and grab a cold one and join us for episode 99 of the Skol Hop. Skol. We are going to give just a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, Big Top Ventures LLC. If you're looking to take a trip to either Mexico or Jamaica, all-inclusive trip that is, send them an email at bigtopventuresllc@gmail.com. We'll have that below if you're watching. And you can send them an email, let them know when you're looking to take a trip and what you might be looking to do while you're on your trip, and they will hook you up with the best rate possible. So make sure you do that. And thanks, Big Top, for hooking us up with some beer tonight and just for being great and helping us out.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Big Top. And by the way, I can't say it enough. Do it. Book the trip. It's a lot of fun, and Big Top is really easy to work with, and they're good people. So thanks, Big Top.
Well, you better talk about this beer here.
Yeah.
I'm excited to try it.
Apparently, this beer that we're going to have is in honor of a specific event that I guess happens every year. I didn't know about the event until just a few minutes ago. But we are going to have from Reunion Brewery their Venue Hopper Pilsner, which I guess is in honor of a festival in Iowa City called the Mission Creek Festival. They play music. I saw something on their website about reading literature. I don't know. I don't know anything about that festival, but I guess they brew a beer for it every year. So I guess it was back in April was that festival. So we missed it. Sorry, guys. Maybe next year. Hopefully I don't know.
Maybe.
But if you know about it, let us know. Is it fun? Is it cool to go to? The can is kind of trippy.
Yeah, that's one thing about Reunion that I think has always kind of stood out to me is their can art. If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify video, you can kind of see the cartoon style. And yeah, it's got some like cartoon characters and they are hopping through the venues. But it's also kind of got this like, I don't know, tritone color scheme to it that looks kind of creepy. One of the characters looks like Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy. Yeah.
It says the can art is designed by Jonathan Sims from Skelinot.com. So, I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, check it out. Good job, Jonathan. I'm really excited to try this beer. It says it's like a hoppy Pilsner.
Hoppy Pilsner.
Yeah.
So let's crack them open and see what we got.
Oh,
ooh, that sounded like a juicy one.
To be clear, Evan is talking about the can that I cracked. Nothing else. I'm already liking this color.
Oh, yeah. It's very light. Colored.
Light. It definitely looks like I would think hoppy Pilsner would look.
It's got a little bit of haze to it, but you can mostly see through it. You can see the bubbles rising up. Good head.
Yeah, good head retention. I did kind of a really hard pour there, so it might take me a few seconds to get through.
As per usual.
This one's going to be a mustache beer for sure.
Smell it, though. You can smell the hops in there. They're very hoppy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah.
And if the can doesn't have it written on there, but if Untapped is to be believed, this is a 5.0% alcohol beer. So, yeah.
We'll put back a few tonight.
Oh, yeah. Skol.
Yeah, I like that. It's crisp. It's refreshing. It's a really good beer for like a hot day.
Yeah, but I think it's perfectly described as a hoppy Pilsner.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a Pilsner. You got that light, crisp refreshingness to it. But then, and for me, it's a nice addition of a little bit of hoppiness too. So,
I like it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Good job, Reunion.
Good stuff. Well, I figured we could talk for just a few minutes about just some minor training camp kind of updates. There's not a whole lot that's coming out. And then we're going to get into our Pick 'em episode. So we have the infamous quarter that went for a swim last year.
That was hilarious. I've laughed really hard a few times on this show. That has to be the hardest I've ever laughed. I think we actually had to stop recording for a minute and I had
reset.
To get up
yeah. And I had to drink to the bottom of the beer to get the quarter out. I think that was another reason we had to stop, was because we needed another quarter. But anyways, we'll get to that here in just a little bit. Each of us have made picks. Our families have made picks. And then we're going to let George Washington make some picks as well. But what's going on with training camp?
So it sounds like JJ McCarthy just keeps looking really good, unless you are that random reporter from Alabama who wrote something earlier this week saying JJ McCarthy was looking rough. I don't know. I didn't even see it. I just saw the backlash from it.
I think it was just like there was one day where the offense struggled in practice.
Which you're going to get that. But apparently he's looking really good. As we speak, we're recording Monday night on the 4th of August. As we speak, they are just about to wrap up the first night practice.
Yep.
And it actually might be over, because I'm reading right now on Twitter from Will Raggets that JJ looked really sharp in 7-on-7 tonight, but in 11-on-11. And he does say without 4 key starters, a couple on the offensive line, TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson, Will said it's been kind of rough on 11-on-11. So, we'll take with the good with the bad. But overall, JJ McCarthy has been looking pretty good. I've seen a lot of highlights of JJ to Jordan Addison specifically, which is really encouraging, but also kind of stinks because we don't know yet what Jordan Addison's official punishment is going to be from the league. He's still facing a probable suspension due to his, was it a DWI or falling asleep at the wheel last year?
Wet reckless.
Wet reckless. Dustin Baker said,
I believe was the term.
Said he was being a little reckless while being wet or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it is nice to see some of that chemistry happen. And on top of all that, sounds like the defense is looking really good too. Just a few minutes ago, Leighton Glodek on Twitter said this Vikings defense is going to be special. So that's all I need to hear is Leighton say something and I believe it. So
Do you think the Vikings make a move for, isn't Christian Wilkins still on the market? Isn't he still available?
I think he's still out there, but I think I've seen some pretty out there stuff about why he's available. Apparently it's not just the
he's he's a loudmouth on the field, I know that.
Well, yeah, but apparently he made some people uncomfortable. I don't know. It's not just about his foot and his rehab from that. It's apparently a whole list of things, and if you don't have to invite negative things into the locker room, especially at this point when the Vikings seem so well put together, I say don't do it. Don't rock the boat too much if you don't have to. Granted, I don't know if some of the things I've heard about Wilkins is true, but it just seems like you don't want to rock the boat too much. So I guess I thought you were going to say Micah Parsons when you were starting to say.
I forgot about him, but yeah, I mean, I guess any additions at this point, offense or defense, do you think that the Vikings are needy? Do the Vikings need to go after a free agent wide receiver to kind of fill the gap?
I mean, I don't know. I've heard some good things about Jalen Naylor as well. Apparently he's put on some good muscle and it's been good for his play. I would like to hear and see some encouraging things about Justin Jefferson's health. I've seen at practice, he's very, very out there and very, participating in practice in the sense of he's out there and helping people around. He's not actually, it's as if he's injured. And I don't know if they're just being super cautious with Justin Jefferson or if there's actually some kind of crazy injury that we don't really know about yet. Because as of now, publicly, it's just like hamstring tightness, and they're taking it easy.
Yeah.
And if that's what it is, Justin Jefferson does not need training camp. He will be fine. If they're just like, hey, no need to throw you out there, just make sure you're 100% by week 1, we'll be good, then I'm happy with that. But I'd kind of want some clarity on that. And especially with Jordan Addison facing a suspension, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, it could be a handful of games, and you might be onto something there. The Vikings might have a sudden immediate need at wide receiver, even if it's just on the short term. So I don't know. As far as signing anybody big, I don't think they really need to. Like a Micah Parsons, I don't think they need to go out and break the franchise just to get a guy at a position that's already pretty strong for the team. I don't really think they need to go out. What do you think? Do you disagree?
I don't know that I disagree. I definitely think going after a wide receiver could be a need, or relying on the guys that you already have in the locker room. Who is it? CD Lamb that's still available?
No.
Or who's available
so
right
Terry
now?
McLaurin is he's the Commanders receiver who's requested a trade. But I don't know how available he is, just that he's requested a trade. I don't really know of anybody who's on the free agent market, just ready to go. That's a big name, but I mean, I guess if the team were to go out and sign a big receiver, I would trust him, but it's not anything I would think they have to do right now.
And I'm just thinking about who's available right now, Maybe it was Amari Cooper. Maybe that was the name that was in my mind.
They do have a lot of receivers on their roster right now. Just looking at it, Jordan Addison, Silas Bolden, Ty Felton, Dante Fleming, Lucky Jackson, Justin Jefferson, Jashawn Jones, Tim Jones, Robert Lewis, Rondale Moore, Jalen Naylor, Miles Price, Thayer Thomas, and that's just what the website lists.
Right.
So the room's pretty crowded as far as people, but I mean,
you're not going to carry more than 6 of those guys.
Yeah, I think 5 or 6 is what any normal team carries anyway. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on, especially if they get through the first preseason game and there's a lot of drops or a lot of specifically negative plays from the receivers that are out there. Then you might start thinking oof. Kind of like right now, I'm kind of thinking what's going on with the backup quarterback position?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you don't need it. Hopefully it's not anything we need to worry about, but QB1 is currently a guy who's never played an NFL down, partially because of injury, or all because of injury last year. So, and it does sound concerning with the quarterback depth chart right now, Sam Howell and Brett Rippon and Max Brosner. So if somebody else were to be available, say a former Vikings first-round pick, that might be intriguing.
You're talking about Teddy
Bridgewater. Yeah, a few minutes before we started recording, I saw a tweet that said, he might come back to the NFL. So you never know. He's definitely not a starter at this point, but
no, but he would be that. He would be a depth guy, and he would be that veteran presence in the locker room where maybe J.J. McCarthy had that in Sam Darnold last year.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really have that now. I mean, the most veteran guy in the quarterback room right now is Brett Rippon with 7 years in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and that guy hasn't started.
Well, and I would argue too, now we're getting back to the quarterback whisperer, Coach Kevin O'Connell. Yep. He does have that, veteran NFL presence. It's just also in his headset and designing the play. So maybe that's even better.
So we've got just another minute or so here before we need to get into the pick 'em. We know a little bit about TJ Hawkinson, Ryan Kelly, Josh Metellus. Yeah. I already said that name. Christian Darrisaw was the last name that I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Darrisaw is kind of on the upswing. The other 3 are kind of iffy at this point. We just don't know a whole lot.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, which one do we absolutely need to have week 1?
Well, I'm kind of taking Darrisaw out of that equation right now just because he is the one that's trending well.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, with the state of the offensive line, I think Ryan Kelly, of the three, Hawkinson, Kelly, and Metellus, like the other two are great and definitely help the team, but you can't do much if the quarterback looks up every 2 seconds and boom, there's a defensive lineman in his face. So Ryan Kelly, you want to make sure he's good and ready to go. Coach O'Connell did kind of come out and say those three specifically, Hawkinson, Kelly, and Metellus, they just have like normal training camp bumps and bruises, and they should be back sooner rather than later. So as of now, apparently nothing to worry about. But the team just did sign a tight end today. They've been kind of making a couple moves here and there somewhat recently, and I think the offensive line has been part of some of those moves. So you just, with the limited information we have in your basement, not because we don't get to be in meeting rooms and stuff, it is kind of concerning. Like, hey, center number one, a big reason why everybody's saying the Vikings are going to be better this year, he might be a little banged up. So hopefully he's okay. I'll take KOC at his word right now.
I'd like to see Josh Metellus in there. And I don't know that we're sitting here hitting the panic button on any of these guys right now, but I think he is the heart and soul of that defense. I think he's that vocal leader. I don't know that he's necessarily the brains. I think we saw last year how important Blake Cashman is to have the green dot on his helmet, and when he's not on the field, the defense kind of crumbled. But I think Josh Metellus is kind of the fuel to the fire, and when he gets going, all 10 of those other guys get going too, and it's fun to watch. So I don't think there's a wrong answer there. I think all of those guys are really important. I think maybe most important would be Justin Jefferson. I think that guy.
Oh, yeah. Get him back. Make sure he's healthy.
He's like top 10 player in the league, possible MVP.
Although devil's advocate, when he missed all those games a couple years ago, the Vikings, I don't think lost any of them. I think they started their win streak when he missed some games. But still, you want him on the field. He makes the team better. Definitely with a young, not rookie anymore quarterback, but a young quarterback. So hopefully everybody's good by week 1. That's all that matters.
Speaking of week 1, I think it's time to make some picks.
Let's do it. The pick 'em. I love this episode. Every year, it's always fun. And
so we should kind of recap really quick what we've done in the past. And I mean, I think we're basically planning on doing the same thing.
Yep.
So we will flip a coin. We have 2 coins. We have a backup coin this year because one of them did go into
it took a swim
the beer last year. So we'll flip a coin. Heads is a win. Tails is a loss. We'll just keep it simple. So for every game, one of us will flip a coin. If it's heads, the Vikings win. If it's tails, the Vikings lose. We'll leave that up to fate. And then we'll reveal each of our picks. We have not talked about our picks at all with each other.
Not to each other. I mean, we've talked about the team, and we kind of know our general feelings about the team. So if you were to sit here and tell me, I predict a 3-win season, I'd be shocked. But we haven't gone game by game yet.
Something we didn't do last year, but I think we're going to do again this year, is we're going to pick locks.
Yep. So
we're going to pick a lock to win, meaning without a shadow of a doubt, I think the Vikings will win this game, and without a shadow of a doubt, I think they'll lose this game. So we'll each select one victory and one loss to be our locks as well. And then we'll also talk about the picks that our family made. We have our wives go down the schedule and pick wins and losses. We also had our kids go down the schedule and pick wins and losses. So I'm interested to see whose kids were nicer to the Vikings this year.
Aren't mine always nicer?
Yes.
But mine also have the ice cream rule, and I don't know if they think in their predictions they're making sure the ice cream happens. But
guarantee I can get that ice cream.
My 5-year-old literally said that. Halfway through, he had only said win, 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 and I just kept saying, like, buddy, they're probably not going to win them all. Why do you keep saying win? And he straight up said, because I want ice cream.
It's good logic, buddy.
Yeah, I totally understand it.
All right. Well, shall we flip a coin for this first game, week 1, at Chicago? It's Monday night at the Bears.
All right. So are we going to say all of ours and then finish off each game with the coin, or are we going to do the coin first?
Oh, I was thinking we could do the coin first.
Whatever works, man.
Should we do it?
Yeah.
Why don't you flip this one?
Oh, no.
I'm nervous.
The pressure's on.
It is?
Coin says tails.
Yikes.
Coin says the Vikings lose.
All right.
And I think Dustin Baker would agree with that. Friend of the show, Dustin Baker, says Soldier Field is always weird for the Vikings. So it would be totally a Vikings thing to do for them to come out and lose this game. But, all right, what do we think?
So I'm with Dustin on this one.
Oh, man.
I actually picked a loss as well.
All right, why is that?
I don't know that I have a ton to back up my claim here. I think the hype around this team has been pretty high, at least with Vikings fans. It's Monday night. Even the players are going to be watching all the games all weekend long. Mm-hmm. They're going to get to Monday night, and they're just going to be, I think, maybe over pumped, over excited. And I think that's just it's a prime recipe to go out and S the bed, they say.
All right.
So,
well, I'm going to shock you, Ev. I'm going to agree with you. I have this down as a loss as well.
Really?
I just think for all the reasons you just said, the Vikings, I still think are the better team of the two as of right now. But, I mean, there's so much going into this game. It'll be the first game for the Bears head coach, and so much expectation. Suddenly Bears fans think their team is right back up there with the best teams in the league for some reason. I think Dustin Baker has influenced me more than anything on this decision for this game because Soldier Field is weird. And for a long time, a lot of our Vikings fandom, the Vikings could not win in Soldier Field no matter what. And it's been a little bit better recently. But yeah, I think the hype, the offseason comes out and hurts the Vikings. But I think ultimately losing this game will be a good punch in the face to be like, whoa, this is the NFL. Whoa, just because we're better and everybody expects us to be better than the other team doesn't mean we're going to win. So it'll be close. It'll be weird. Dustin Baker even said like it's going to be some like weird 6-7 game or something like that. And yeah, I think the Vikings might lose this one. Yeah, exactly.
All right, what did our wives pick? What did your wife pick?
All right. So basically, my wife just kind of went through last season and saw the records for each team that the Vikings were playing this year.
She did research.
Yeah, a little bit. But Miranda said the Vikings would win.
Okay. I hope she's right.
Yeah, me too.
I hope I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. My wife also said that this would be a Vikings win.
Nice.
So it's kind of us against the wives right
also,
now.
I don't know. It looks like my wife is the only one that did preseason games. She said they're going to win all 3.
I'm going to be at the one next week.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm just going to go with one of my kids because for the sake of like stirring the pot a little bit, she definitely, my oldest, picked a very different outcome for the Vikings than anyone else in my family. So my kids picked a loss as well. Okay. What about yours?
So I have 3 children. So mine was kind of easy. I just went with the consensus of the 3. So if 2 of them said a win, then it was a win. If, all 3, you know what I mean?
It's very democratic.
Yeah, it just seemed easy enough, which kind of backfired because my middle child always said what my oldest child said. And I was like, wait, okay, you can't start saying the answer first. Anyways, all that to say, my kids predicted a win in Chicago for the Vikings.
Okay.
All right, coin time. So you've got them. We've all got them, or both of us have them at 0-1 right now.
Yes. So 0-1 to start the season. Again, Monday night, all this hype, in the words of Carrie Underwood, we've been waiting all night for Monday night.
We've been waiting all off season for Monday night.
It's been a long wait, and I just don't know that the Vikings shine in that moment, unfortunately. Let's see what the coin thinks about week 2 home against the Falcons. I'm going to do it over here. That's a heads, my friend.
Okay.
That's a heads. So the coin says win.
Nice. Okay.
Week 2.
Was it last year or has it been the last 2 years? The coin has predicted some like crazy win streak for both seasons.
Yeah. So the coin predicted the first 6 wins last year, and 2 years ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. All right. So at least the coin's switching it up a little bit this year. It's at a loss against the Bears and a win against the Lions. What do you have or a win against the Falcons? What do you have against the Falcons?
I've got this as a win.
Okay.
I think the Falcons are going to be young with Michael Penix starting at quarterback. And who knows? I mean, week 2, he could find himself on the bench and Kirk Cousins could find himself
That'd be crazy.
back in the starting lineup. Never. I don't know. Their lineup just doesn't stand out to me as one that's going to win a lot of games. Yeah, I don't know. And I think the kick in the teeth, like we were talking about at Chicago week 1 for the Vikings, will be enough to light a fire under them and say, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go win this game. Now, this is another primetime game. This is a Sunday night game. So 2 primetime games in a row.
Yeah.
The Vikings, historically, in our lifetime, haven't performed super well in primetime games. They've
been pegged
better
on one player.
I would even say, sure, he's maybe the scapegoat for all of that. But even before and after him, the Vikings have struggled. Kirk Cousins, that is. I think the Vikings will win this one. It's at home. U.S. Bank Stadium is going to be rocking that night. It's the home opener. I think they get it done.
I agree with you. I think the Vikings are going to beat the Falcons. The last time the Vikings and Falcons played, was it in Atlanta, wasn't it?
It was in Atlanta last season. Yep.
But Kirk Cousins looked terrible. Say what you want. I do think the nerves of playing against the Vikings probably contributed to that. And ultimately, that was like the last straw for him. He got benched. I think that, not during the game, but the next week, I'm pretty sure, is when Michael Penix started. Maybe I might be a little wrong about that, but either way, that was a tough.
There
game
might have
for
been
Kirk
like
Cousins.
one more week after that.
Yeah.
Like Kirk might have, but he threw 4 picks.
Yeah, it was tough
in that game against the Vikings.
But this year it'll be Penix. I think it'd be shocking if it wasn't Penix. He would have to get injured like in the next few weeks for him not to be.
Bad.
Yeah. But like you said, it's in Minnesota. If the Vikings, even if they don't lose to the Bears, but especially if they do lose to the Bears, you got to think they're not going to let the next game be a loss, no matter what. So they're going to come out. If they got punched in the face the week before, they're going to punch the Falcons in the face this week. It'll be a fun game, I think, but yeah, I don't see the Vikings losing this one at all.
What about the wives? What did the wives say?
Miranda said they would win against the Falcons.
Okay.
Probably just because she saw the record for the Falcons last year and the record for the Vikings last year and just went with that.
Raven also says a win.
Okay. My kids all agreed, or at least the consensus, I don't know if it was a unanimous, they agreed a win as well against the Falcons.
Well, that makes unanimous across the board.
Nice.
Because my kids also predicted,
so
my oldest predicted a win.
We're either going to be all right or all wrong. So.
Yep. So we're all in on the Vikings winning week 2 against the Falcons at home. Again, Sunday night game. I think that is worth noting in 2 primetime games again to start the regular season. That's kind of a bang start.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be fun.
All right. You're flipping for week 3, the first noon game, home game against the Bengals. I thought that was going to take...
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Tails. The coin says it's a loss against the Bengals.
I almost wonder if we retoss that, though.
I did drop it. Should I retoss it, or are we going to take it for what it is? I think we take it for what it is.
You take it for what it is?
Yeah.
All right. You tossed it, so it's your call.
All right. So coin said a loss, and I agree with the coin.
Really?
I think this season there's so much expectation, and I think it's founded. You keep saying like the Vikings are right to be expecting high things and to have high expectations and have all the hype, but because of all the hype, it's going to take a minute. I think it's going to be one of those like after the first couple incompletions, the frustration is going to sit in. There's so much pressure on JJ's shoulders right now, on KOC's shoulders, on everybody's shoulders to keep being good and hopefully break through and continue being better. But I think against the Bengals, who had a rough year last year, if I remember correctly, they're just it's going to be too much, even at home. So I think the Bengals are going to best the Vikings this week.
I disagree.
Okay,
I'm calling this a win, and I think the Bengals are, in my mind, kind of the Falcons of the AFC. They've got a kind of a flashy name quarterback, and they've got a few stars here and there. They're just not a well-rounded team. I think they struggled defensively last year. I don't think they did much to really build their defense up in the offseason. And I don't know, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I just don't think they're as good as Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, but that's my personal opinion.
Nope, that's the Skol Hops official opinion. Thanks, Ev.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know. Joe Burrow, sure, he's won in some big games. He's made it to the Super Bowl, but I don't know. In his injury history, I should say, is definitely concerning.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I think, and the Bengals too, I'm rambling maybe a little bit, but I think the Bengals have started out slow. Every season Joe Burrow has been under center. So that would be my final reason why I think the Vikings are going to win this game is
okay.
The Vikings will, and this is a home game for the Vikings. So again, they'll have the home crowd behind them. And I think for all those other reasons, I think this is an easy win. I think maybe the Falcons is maybe a little bit more kind of back and forth. Two young quarterbacks going at it.
Yeah.
But I think this one, the Vikings handle things well, we'll say.
I did forget to say, not to completely disagree with you, but I did forget to say one of my reasons for thinking the Vikings might lose against the Bengals is it's right in front of a very big trip across the pond. And there's a lot of pressure with that too, because the next game is against the Steelers with, famous Viking hater, almost Viking himself, Aaron Rodgers. So I think there's going to be a little bit of looking ahead to the week after. Probably a lot of decisions KOC has to make. So I think there will be a little distraction. However, he's gone overseas twice now, and all he's done is win both games overseas. And I guess I don't know how he did the weeks before those games. But yeah, those were my reasonings. The wives. What'd your wife say for the Bengals game?
Raven says this is a loss.
Ooh, okay. And Miranda said it was a win against the Bengals.
Okay. I agree with your wife and not mine. What about your kids?
My kids, just a second, I was finishing pouring my beer there. My kids said that the Vikings would lose against the Bengals, and I don't remember why.
And my kids also said a loss. And honestly, I didn't really talk to them about this while they were doing it. I just kind of told them what to do.
Yeah.
And my oldest is 8. She'll be 9 next month. She knows enough now, and she knows who some of these teams are. She doesn't know all the players or anything like that, but she's also the one that she likes to rub it in my face. She'll say that I'm a Packers fan just to get me going.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So
that's funny.
Anyways, I did not consider fully the fact that Bengals game is on the heels of the 2-game road trip across the pond. And that's unique because no NFL team has ever done that in the regular season.
I think 2 weeks in a row. The Jaguars did 2 weeks in a row last year, but they went and played at least both in London. I don't know if they were both in the same stadium.
It's unique then because it's in 2 different countries.
Correct.
They're going to play in Ireland.
But still, even if they're the second
England.
ones to do it, that's still 2. That's not very many in the history of the NFL.
And I don't think it went great for the Jags either.
I think they went 1-1.
I think they went 1-1.
They won the second one and lost the first one.
Well, that's a good place to start because I'm going to say that they're going to lose to the Steelers in Dublin, which I don't want to lose to Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to lose at all. But I do think the travel will wear on the guys a little bit. I think the hype leading up to the trip for all of the things that we just said 30 seconds ago will wear on the guys a little bit. And I think that game will be close too, because the Steelers are going to feel it just as much as the Vikings.
Oh yeah,
they're going to
absolutely.
feel the jet lag. They're going to feel the different energy in the stadium in Dublin. All of the above. But with a young quarterback going up against a future Hall of Famer, Mike Tomlin's a heck of a coach who's really never had a losing season. I think they're gonna get the best of Kevin O'Connell and JJ McCarthy in Dublin.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned future Hall of Famer against a young quarterback. I saw something on Twitter the other day that as of right now, the listed QB1s in the league, the oldest, of course, at 41 years old is Aaron Rodgers. The youngest
is JJ
McCarthy at 22 years old. So that's kind of crazy. I feel like Aaron Rodgers has had a couple of games like that in the last few years where he's been like 20 years older or literally the oldest against the youngest, stuff like that. But it is funny that that's going to happen and overseas and probably a big matchup. Even if one of these teams is way better than the other one, it's still early enough in the season that it's still a big game no matter what. So with all that saying, and we will need to get to the coin after.
Yeah,
after
I realized we forgot that, but I figured it was a good segue kind of into the next game.
But yeah, I said the Vikings are going to win. They're going to beat the Steelers in Dublin. I remember last year, friend of the show, Dustin Baker, leading up to the Vikings-Jets game, he was saying like, hey guys, there's one good thing, even if the Vikings end up losing, one good thing about this game is it's the last time we'll ever have to see the Vikings play against Aaron Rodgers. And I believed him, and it definitely made sense because, you know, we all thought Rodgers, he was either going to retire or stay with the Jets, and they're not going to play the Jets again for a while. So it's kind of funny that literally a year later, the Vikings are going to play Aaron Rodgers. I don't really believe in 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Not that much. Not that he's garbage, but he's not MVP Aaron Rodgers anymore. Mike Tomlin's a really good coach, but I think Kevin O'Connell is coming up, and he will be, when everything's all said and done, Kevin O'Connell hopefully is viewed as just as good or if not better than Mike Tomlin. Preposterous thing to say right now. Tomlin's won at least one, if not two Super Bowls. He's had one of the greatest coaching careers of all time, but I feel like Kevin O'Connell, he's gonna be there.
Well, and side note, and something we texted about talking about on this episode was the fact that just this week, an ESPN reporter put out an article ranking coaching staffs in the NFL, and I texted it to you, and you were like, well, this is either really, really bad for the Vikings or really, really good, and I don't think you'd read it yet.
Yeah, no, I texted you that before I read it. I was like, you wouldn't be sending this to me if he was like 15th.
And then you read it, and like a couple minutes later, I got a text that was like, whoa.
Because KOC and the rest of the Vikings coaching staff, according to that one ESPN writer, were ranked the best coaching staff in the NFL, which is crazy, and probably just because of the Coach of the Year award. I did say I'm pretty sure the Eagles coaching staff was ranked like number 8, which is insane to say about the reigning Super Bowl winning team. I think the Chiefs were number 2. So there's some
Chiefs
subject,
were a little lower than
maybe
that,
even, yeah.
I don't remember.
So it's a little crazy to think that KOC is the best coach in the NFL right now. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but it is nice to know like other people think he's good just like I do. So that is kind of fun.
Well, let's see what the coin thinks about this week 4 game in Dublin against the Steelers. The Vikings are technically the away team too. Coin says that's a win.
All right, let's go coin. Coin is totally split so far.
But it's a win. So, yeah.
All right, my wife said that this would be a win.
Okay. My wife said this would also be a win.
Okay. My kids decided that this would be a win.
My kids did not. They picked a loss.
Well, I hope your kids are wrong.
Interesting. You and the coin are mirroring each other right now.
Oh, nice.
Loss, win so far. So, kind of interesting. Leading into week 2 across the pond, different country, as we pointed out, in London. But the second week in a row, playing an 8:30 a.m. U.S. time.
Yeah, that'll be
kickoff.
interesting. I can't decide if that's a good thing as a fan or a bad thing. Just get it out of the way, or like just have to wake up early and go through all that super on time. But
so they're playing the Browns, and again, they're technically the away team. Should we flip the coin?
Yeah, let's flip the coin before we forget.
You almost dropped it again.
The coin says tails. I feel like every time I flip, the coin says tails.
Well, the coin has an alternating record right now. 3-2. Loss, win, loss, win, loss.
All right. So I said the Vikings would win. This is the first time me and the coin are disagreeing.
Okay.
I think the Vikings are going to be locked in. They're going to lose to the Bears, get punched in the face, get embarrassed, and then come out and beat the crap out of the Falcons. And then in anticipation of this big London and Ireland trip, they're going to lose to the Bengals, but then they're just going to totally rock it, and they're going to be so prepared for the overseas trip that it won't even matter that they're there for a while or who they're playing. It's nice that it's both away games. They're not losing any home games. They're going to win both of them, and they're better than both of these teams as they stand right now, especially the Browns.
Yeah, and especially the Browns is why not only have I picked this as a win, this is my lock.
Ooh, that's our first lock. All right.
This is my lock to win, so I'm going to get this locked emoji in there to symbolize the fact that is my lock. And I think it's a lock for a few reasons. What you just said is absolutely true. The Browns are terrible. They are a dumpster fire of an organization. They drafted Shedeur Sanders. And right now, the projected starting quarterback is Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Hey, they did just today sign a Pro Bowl quarterback.
And who's that?
Tyler Huntley, former Ravens quarterback, who made the Pro Bowl one year after throwing for like 200 yards in the season or something like that. It was one of those like everybody else said no. And it's like, well, come on, Tyler. And he's like, yes. So he's a Pro Bowler, former Pro Bowler. But yeah, they signed him today. They've had some injuries with Kenny Pickett a little bit.
Yeah.
And even Shedeur Sanders has had some injuries, I think. But yeah, I think Flacco is still listed QB1 right now for them.
So for those reasons, I think this is a win. Also, I predicted that they would lose against the Steelers the previous week. So again, I think there's just that like, all right, we didn't come all the way over here just to go 0-2. Mm-hmm. We're gonna go 1-1. It's not ideal to go 1-1. You've got them going 2-0 over there.
Over there, yeah.
Over there is what I was saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think the guys rally. I think the guys also, I think it's underestimated how hard guys play when they know the bye week is coming up.
Yeah.
Like I think they're just like, all right, I get a week off after this. I'm going to go all out now because I know that I have extra time to recover. So I'll, tackle a little bit harder. I will dive a little bit farther for the ball. Mm-hmm. I'll, stretch my legs a little bit farther to get the toe tap, touchdown, whatever. So I don't think this is an eke by win. I think this is the Vikings just totally demolish. The game's over by the middle of the third quarter. Maybe Max Brosmer or someone else comes in relief. I don't know.
I don't know if Brosmer's making the team, but yeah,
I'm not going to throw around any super big predictions there. But I think this is a win. I think it's an easy win. That's why it's my lock.
All right. One thing, I wonder if players, I feel like having a bye week after an overseas trip like this, you have to. I think the Vikings in Kevin O'Connell's first year, they went overseas and then didn't have the bye week. They came back and played right away the next week. But I feel like you got to, especially being over there 2 weeks. But I wonder if having the bye week start while you're already overseas kind of sucks for the players. I imagine a lot of these players, they go to they call up Big Top Ventures and they go to Cancun, or they go somewhere for at least a couple of days over that bye week. And that's made all the more difficult when you already have to come back to the country and then you're trying to fly somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it and maybe they don't really care because they're flying straight from London to, Cancun or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know if the teams allow them to do that. I don't know if you have to fly back on the team plane back to Minneapolis, and then once you're back, you can do whatever you want. Or if like, oh no, I guess we're already over here. If you want to go to Greece or if you want to go to Spain, whatever. I mean, we're already here.
Yeah.
You want to buy your own ticket. The plane will just be a little emptier on the way back, I guess.
I wonder how that works.
I don't know how it works either, but yeah.
But all that to say, I guess we still need our wives and kids.
Yeah,
for
we
this
got to
one.
inform everybody on our family picks here.
All right, so I'm actually pretty shocked. My wife has predicted the Vikings heading into the bye undefeated. She said they're going to win against the Browns as well.
Okay.
And be 5-0. I have them at the bye at 5-2.
3-2.
3-2. Yes, there's 5 total games. 3
and so do I for
nice.
the record. Okay. I have them at 3-2 going into the bye. My oldest daughter picked this as a loss.
Okay. And what'd your wife say? You didn't say
sorry,
that.
I need to back up. She picked this as a win.
Okay.
So my wife picked a win. My daughter picked a loss.
Okay.
What about your kids?
My kids said win against the Browns.
Okay.
All right. So I feel like I'm a happy camper for the most part if they enter the bye at 3-2. I wonder what my predictions were last year. I feel like because I had the same bye week last year. I feel like I also predicted 3-2 heading into the bye as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's just
you did predict 3-2, but they were 5-0.
Yeah. And then I went to the next game after the bye, and lo and behold, that was the first loss of the season.
Yeah. So don't go to games this year.
I don't have any plans to. So.
All right. So coming out of the bye week, things get kind of interesting, and I think the first 5 games, maybe you take the 2 games overseas kind of out of the equation, but they still almost kind of seem like more preseason games to me. They kind of seem like things are just going to get warmed up a little bit. Maybe the Vikings could go 5-0 through those 5, like your wife has predicted. But we hit week 7, and it's like things are getting real.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not just one game here, one game there. It's like this is the tough stretch of the schedule.
Yeah.
You got a lot of divisional games in here. You've got a lot of games against some really, really good teams, really good coaches, really good players. A couple of primetime games tossed in there.
By this point in the season, you really start to figure out who these teams are.
Yep.
Which is kind of crazy because I think the Bears last year, kind of at this point in the season, were undefeated or had only lost 1 game, and then the wheels fell off. But typically, for most teams, especially after the gauntlet the Vikings will have in the first part of the season, we should have a good idea of like, oof, JJ McCarthy is actually terrible and this is going to be tough. Or, holy cow, we've seen some flashes. JJ might actually be something, stuff like that. Hopefully there's no, knock on the Skol Man Center wood, hopefully there's no big injuries before then. Hopefully guys like Christian Darrisaw are showing like, yeah, he is healthy and he is good. TJ Hawkinson, remember that weird day in training camp when he didn't practice that one day? Like, hopefully that's what we're saying, But yeah, did you say if you made your prediction yet for the Eagles game? Or should we flip the coin
let's
first?
Let's flip the coin first, and then we'll see where we're at after that.
All
So
right.
here's the official coin flip. That says tails.
Oof. All right, the coin said the Vikings are going to lose to the Eagles at noon on October 19th. And that's in Minnesota. What do you think, Kev?
So this is a loss.
Oof.
And unfortunately, this is my lock to lose. And I'll tell you why. Let me just record this quick. You're coming off a 2-week road trip overseas. You're coming off a bye week. Historically, the Vikings don't play well coming off of bye weeks. Last year, they lost 2 in a row coming off the bye week. And all of that doesn't really matter because you're playing the defending Super Bowl champs. And it also doesn't matter that this is a home game. It doesn't matter that it's a noon game. You're playing the defending Super Bowl champs. So I think the odds are stacked against them. I'm still really optimistic about the Vikings. And let me tell you, I've got a win streak coming pretty soon here. And I know I just said, oh, the schedule gets really scary here, but I'm not that scared. I'm a little nervous about the Vikings playing the Eagles coming off the bye week. I don't like their chances. I think that's my lock to lose.
All right. Well, Evan, keep that lock emoji copied.
Oh, boy.
Because this is also a lock for me. And it's also my lock to lose.
Okay. I thought you were going to say, but.
I think, for me, this comes down to one player. Saquon Barkley. I feel like at this point in the season, unless he's injured, he's warmed up. He's ready to go. And if last year taught us anything, it's that he's still got plenty left in the tank. He is probably entering his prime right now. He's a tough player to play against, and I think he was one of many reasons, but number one of many reasons why the Eagles were so dominant when they were last year and led to the Super Bowl for them. The Vikings did beef up their defensive line. Their pass rush should be better than it was last year, but you can't win them all. The Vikings have not had success against the Eagles in recent years, and I just think this is one of those that it's going to be a loss. So, unfortunately, you're just not going to win every game.
Mm-hmm. So, funny thing about my wife's schedule here that she wrote on it, looks like she wanted to start writing a W.
It did, yeah. It's like a slanted, and then she's like no.
So my wife has this as a loss, and unfortunately, I think she's right.
Yeah. My wife also has this as a loss, probably for just because they had a better record last year. Well, did they have a better record last year than the Vikings?
I don't know. That's a good question.
They may have had the same regular season.
It was similar. There are a lot of the NFC especially was really top heavy last year.
Yeah, the Eagles and Vikings were both 14-3 last year in the regular season. Obviously, the Eagles were a way better team, but still.
So my daughter had the Vikings going 1-4 after the bye or going into the bye, but she picked them to win against the Eagles.
All right.
So.
Hey, remember a few minutes ago when I said I hope she's wrong all the time? I hope she's right on this one. My kids also put this down as a loss.
Okay, so everybody but my kids,
yep,
are picking this as a loss. All right, so the next 6 weeks are kind of interesting for the Vikings. Last year, if you'll remember, they went on a 3-game road trip before coming back for a 3-game homestand. And I really emphasized that in last year's Pick 'em, and I think I was kind of right. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to pound the table and say that was I was whatever. But I think I was on to something with that 3-game road stretch followed by the 3-game home stretch that proved to be pretty pivotal for the Vikings.
It was very pivotal.
They already had proven that they were a good team, but didn't they go 6-0 in those games?
Yes, I was just checking that. Last year in the 3 games away and 3 games home in the stretch you're talking about, it was all wins.
And there was some adversity tossed in there too. Like there was that 12-7 win. Who was that? The first away game, the
Jaguars was tough.
One of Darnold's worst games.
Yeah, the Titans were tough. After both of those games, KOC was getting questions like, what are you doing at quarterback? And after both of those, he kept saying, like, no, Sam's our guy. I'm not making any changes. And to his credit, that ended up being the right decision until the last game of the season.
So interesting about this season is week 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, you have 2 away games, 2 home games, 2 away games. So it's kind of this like snip, snap, Michael Scott kind of thing.
Do you have any idea?
You're home, you're away, you're home,
2
you're away.
2 home games and 2 away games does to a person.
But I think, well, actually, what I think we should do is we should flip the coin first.
Yes.
And it's your turn to flip. And then I'll get into what I think.
Coin says heads. It's going to be a win against the Chargers. Is that what this one is?
Week 8. Week 8.
At the LA Chargers.
At the Chargers.
Coin says a win.
I'm calling this a win too.
All right.
I think this is the beginning of a nice little streak.
Okay.
Vikings are going to go streaking here. I'm not going to tell you how much, but They're going to go streaking.
All right.
That's what I think.
All right.
What do you think?
I also think this is a win. It's the only tricky part is it's a Thursday night game.
True.
It is 4 days after the Eagles game, and it's away. It is heading to the West Coast,
Yep.
Which you've said 1,000 times, and I think it's a very accurate take. Teams who are not in the West Coast have a tough time going to the West Coast and playing. This one, yes, it's a Thursday night game, but the Vikings, their body clock will be thinking it's more like dinner time rather than bedtime. So maybe that'll help. I don't know. But I do think it'll be a win against the Chargers. I think Harbaugh is going to lose against his college national championship winning quarterback. And I just think KOC, he is too good not to win this game.
I agree. I also think like those Thursday night games, again, kind of like players looking ahead to the normal bye week. I think when they play in those Thursday night games, they look forward to the mini bye that comes after that. Like, okay, I get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
It's the mini bye.
I don't really have to be in the office again until Wednesday. Like, I've got some time. I can go home. I can be with my kids. This is kind of smack dab in the middle of the season, week 8. So I think they look forward to that. And I think, even if it's a long plane ride home from LA to Minneapolis, it's worth it.
Yeah.
So,
all right. My wife said that the Vikings would win against the Chargers as well.
well, hey, so did mine.
And my children said that this would be a loss.
And my kids said this was a win. So my kids are starting to be more optimistic about the Vikings
take it.
here. All right, so week 2 of this road stretch, week 9 overall, we go to Detroit. I know it when you love it. I know you love it. The Vikings travel to Detroit.
Yeah, I think at this point the Lions will have something like 2 or 3 wins total.
Wow.
Yeah, I do not believe in the Lions in 2025. Maybe they'll bounce back and figure it out after this season, but this season with all these high expectations and everybody's going to still be saying like, "Oh, who cares about those coordinators?" It's going to be tough for them. It's their brains of the football field left the team. So I guess I'm going to jump the gun before the coin.
Oh.
And I'm just going to say the Vikings are going to win this game against the Lions.
Okay. I'm surprised that's not a lock.
It seemed very obvious that I was going that direction. That's why I cut the coin there.
Let's see what the coin says,
All right.
and then we'll get to mine. Oof. That's a tails.
Oof. All right. Well, the coin is an idiot. So
I think this is a win as well. I said going into week 8 at the Chargers, I said this would start a win streak. The Vikings were going streaking, and I wasn't kidding. I think you're right. I think you're onto something that the Lions won't be as dominant as they were last year. I watched the Hall of Fame game. I don't know how much of that you did.
I watched it, and keep going. I don't want to interrupt.
You've got to take a game like that with a grain of salt. It's not anything close to what the final product will be on the field week 1, and it's probably nothing even remotely close to what it will be week 9 when the Vikings see them for the first time. I totally understand that, but still, I think Dan Campbell got outcoached in that game, and not that his goal was to outcoach his opponent, but he definitely got outcoached, and there were some situations and some scenarios where I'm like, why did you do that? Like, even if you have your 4th string guys that won't even make the roster, why would you do that? Why did you call that play and your quarterback got picked off? Because that happened. And there were a few other just head scratchers that I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't make sense unless you're trying to put those guys through adversity to see. But I don't know that you do that on the national stage in the Hall of Fame game when, all the lights are on you and you're literally the only football game on, and it's the only football game that's been on in like 100 some days.
Taste of the NFL.
So, again, take all that with a grain of salt. It was the Hall of Fame game. It doesn't matter. It's a preseason game. But they did not look good, and I think he got out-coached. And I don't think his goal was to be out-coached in that game.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot to what you were saying, that he's going to get out-coached a lot this season, I think.
Yeah. So not to totally just keep crapping on Dan Campbell and the Lions, because it does eventually it does make us look, petty.
You can.
But I really think this is the year, because they did mention in the Hall of Fame game, like, you guys might forget that before Ben Johnson really started calling plays, Dan Campbell was calling plays, and he was in the Hall of Fame game. He was calling the offensive plays. And I think this is going to be the year where it's like Dan Campbell is going to have it dawned on him that, crap, I need to focus on being a CEO and not a coordinator. And he's definitely been the one that's like, no, we're going for it, I don't care. And then Ben Johnson draws up something great and it works. Now he's going to be the one that's saying, I'm going for it, I don't care. And he doesn't have a Ben Johnson to draw up something great. So it's going to be whatever messed up stuff in Dan Campbell's head, and it's not going to work.
Some kneecaps.
It'll accidentally work sometimes, but it's not going to work. Dan Campbell, after this year, will realize, oh, crap, I need to just break the bank and hire the best coordinators anybody can hire. Otherwise, I'm going to get fired. And this year will be a very down year for the Lions because of that. My wife said that the Vikings would lose to the Lions.
Okay. So did my wife. And maybe my wife did what your wife did and looked back at recent history. I don't know.
I will give her some credit, because my wife, she doesn't know nothing. She definitely, she's not a diehard football fan. She'd say she's a Vikings fan. She wears the Vikings shirts and stuff like that. She enjoys watching the games, but it doesn't. They could lose by 100 and it wouldn't ruin her day. But she did, I'll give her credit and say she did some research, and she at least cared enough to know, okay, I shouldn't just say win, lose, I like the mascot, stuff like that. She looked it up and put a little bit of thought into it. So
sports ball.
Yeah. And she's not one of those oh, go touchdown, yay, home run. It's not, she's not sarcastic about it.
Right.
But yeah.
My kids have this as a loss.
And so do mine.
Okay. Well, our kids need to learn a lesson or two.
Right? Real quick, I will say in recent days, it has kind of sounded like Will Reichard in training camp has been a little bit hit or miss, literally. But they ended off the night practice tonight with something like 6 or 7 straight kicks for him at varying distances. He made them all. Wow. Short and long. So it's nice. When the lights were literally bright with fans in the stadium, he made all the kicks. So that's good to hear. Good to see.
It is encouraging. I hope he can stay healthy, because he was untouchable before he got hurt. And then that quad muscle started to come unattached from his leg, and then he was not great.
Yeah.
It was kind of ugly. All right, week 10 starts a 2-game home stretch, starting with the Ravens.
Yep. All right. So the coin says heads.
That's a win. Okay. So through 9 games, the coin has 1, 2, 3, 4 wins.
Oh, okay.
5 losses.
Interesting. That would be pretty disappointing.
4 and 5 would be tough. But I'll take a win against the Ravens. The Ravens were a playoff team. Yeah. I'll just come out and say it. I think the Vikings win this one too.
All right.
It's a home game, obviously. I don't remember the last time the Ravens came to Minnesota.
I think I may have been in attendance the last time the Ravens visited Minnesota. That was at US Bank Stadium. Pretty sure, yeah. And I'm pretty sure they won against it. But it was 2017, I want to say.
It's been a while.
It's been a minute. Let me look it up as you explain why you think the Vikings are going to win.
I think this will be a really close game. I think this will be a really evenly matched game. The Ravens are a really good team. Obviously, John Harbaugh is a great coach. Lamar Jackson is always in the MVP conversation, and Derrick Henry just doesn't stop. He's got this motor, and I don't know that he's obviously older than a Saquon Barkley, but he's just gonna keep trucking, He's just going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, this will be a really evenly matched game. I think this is where the Vikings run game will have to come out. And that's where the addition of Jordan Mason, I think, will be really important.
Oh, that'll be huge. Yeah.
I saw a picture today of Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones standing on the sideline next to each other. And you think, like, when you think of Aaron Jones, what do you think of?
I mean, he's kind of smaller, but
he's an NFL player.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were standing in the presence of Aaron Jones, we'd probably be like looking up at him.
Yeah,
and
I guess I don't know how tall he is.
Jordan Mason, his legs are like tree trunks to Aaron Jones' little toothpick legs. I mean,
Pro Football Reference has Aaron Jones at 5'9", 208 pounds. I am larger than Aaron Jones.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Now, I'm physically larger, but I'm also larger than a lot of 5'9" people. He and I are the same height, if you can believe 5'9". He also was born 3 years after us. That's crazy.
So anyways, I think the addition of Jordan Mason is huge. And I think against a really stout defense like the Ravens, you're going to need to rely on that run game, and you're going to need to rely on not just the speedy scat back like Aaron Jones, who can be shifty, but you're going to need that big power guy to just bulldoze through the line and wear those guys down through 4 quarters. So
I think Jordan Mason, to tangent a little bit, I think he will end the season as the true statistical Vikings RB1.
Really?
I think maybe he won't start every game. I think Aaron Jones is still RB1. But I think when you look at stats and really impact, I'm going to hot take. I'll say I think Jordan Mason will eclipse Aaron Jones in all of those stats.
That is a hot take.
Maybe it'll be closer than I think it will be, but I think maybe 3 years from now, Jordan Mason will still be a Viking, whereas Aaron Jones will either be retired or moved on. But I think Jordan Mason will truly be the actual RB1 when you really think about it. Anyways.
For the first time in a while, the Vikings have that true 1-2 punch at running back, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So
I looked it up. The last time the Vikings and Ravens played, at least in the regular season, it was in Baltimore. The Vikings lost 31-34. But the last time the Ravens visited Minnesota, it was in 2017, and I was in attendance for that one. The Vikings won 24-16.
Nice.
Totally different teams. I mean, that was darn near a decade ago. So different quarterbacks. Adam Thielen, I'm pretty sure, scored a touchdown in that game. So totally different teams, but still. Yeah. Have I said my prediction for this one yet?
You have not.
All right. I think the Vikings will win this one. It'll be tough. I think you just laid out why it'll be tough. Derrick Henry is always, he's a creative player. It's insane how good he is. As much as I just drooled over Saquon Barkley a few minutes ago, I think Derrick Henry is every bit as droolable. He is just as good of a running back, even now when they're both getting up there a little bit. You have MVP worthy, apparently, Lamar Jackson. I don't really think he deserves all those accolades. He's an electric generational athlete, but I don't think he's an MVP quarterback. But fight me if you think I'm wrong. That's fine. But yeah, I think the Vikings, they'll find a way to win this one. The edge for me on this one was that it was a home game. If it were away, I think they're close enough teams that home field advantage is really big enough to tip the scales. And
at this point in the season, November 9th, you're starting to get into the colder months. Mm-hmm. Baltimore plays outside. And so, yeah, the home field advantage from here on out is very important.
Although, funny enough, I think this is absolutely a game that if you were listening to the Ravens version of the Skol Hop, they're, a couple of dudes in the basement podcast, they're absolutely sitting there like, oh, the Vikings are going to totally get dominated in this game. The Ravens are going to make the Vikings look like an arena team. They're saying stuff like that. Each fan base in this one, the teams are close enough that they're both going to be like, yeah, mark this as a win. This will be an easy win. On to next week. It's just, that's the nature of the NFL. They're so close that I'm still standing by a win, but I could definitely see why Ravens fans would be like, yeah, the Vikings are going to lose this one.
And I think one other thing that I would say before we keep going is I think the Ravens and the Vikings have similar divisions and similar kind of paths to the playoffs. The AFC North is that black and blue division on the AFC side. Like it's tough to win in that division with
Ravens, Steelers, Browns, and who else? Bills. Oh, is it? No, the Bills are in the East.
Are
AFC
the Bills
East.
in the East?
Yeah, they're with the Dolphins and the
Who's
Patriots.
the other team in the North? The Bengals?
Is it? Yeah, it is the Bengals. It's the Ohio teams, and then the yeah.
I thought the Bills were in the North for some reason, but
No. Yeah.
anyways, still, it's a tough division. I think especially the Bengals and the Steelers always give the Ravens a run for their money. And all of those teams play outside, I'm pretty sure. So, like, when you get into November and December,
they all play outside.
Chaotic. Like, I think that was when we saw, was it Browns Steelers last year? That was the really snowy game.
And
it
then
was
the Jameis Winston. I just all the crazy
I'm
things
just so happy to be playing out here in the snow. That was awesome. But anyways, so I think they've got a tough road forward, not only in their division, but just on the AFC side of things anyways. I think they're positioned kind of like the Vikings. They're kind of that like scrappy underdog team that definitely has a chance and can definitely make some noise in the playoffs, given the right environment, given the right timing, the right game, no injuries or minimal injuries, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
All right. My wife said that the Vikings would lose to the Ravens.
So did mine, and
Weird.
I disagree with them
Weird
both.
that your wife said that the Ravens would win. That's so weird. I don't think there's any bias to that at all.
Because her name is Raven.
Yeah. I throw that one out. I don't even believe that one.
My daughter said they would win this game.
Oh, okay.
So she sided with the Vikings and not with her mom.
Yeah,
so.
my kids said that this would be a win for the Vikings as well. All right, we are pushing like an hour and 10 minutes here.
Yeah.
I think we need to keep going.
So week 11, playing the Bears at home.
All right, is it my turn, your turn to flip? I'm going to flip either way.
You flip, I don't remember.
The coin says the Vikings will win this game.
Okay.
I like the coin the last couple of games here.
I also call this as a win.
Yep. You've used both of your locks so far, right?
Yep. My locks are gone.
Well, I'm about to use my last lock.
Good.
I'm saying that the Vikings abso-freaking-lutely are going to demolish the Bears. This is a lock for sure. The Vikings are definitely going to be showing the difference between a fourth-year, very established, very good coaching staff as compared to a first-year coaching staff who is still figuring things out. There's going to be, I think by this point, the Bears, there will be some televised sideline argument between Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Not necessarily in this game, but at some point in the season, we will have seen that. I think there might be a coordinator fired for the Bears at some point, which is kind of a bold take in the first year, but things are going to look desperate for the Bears by this point. I don't think the Bears are going to be looking too good, and the Vikings are definitely going to benefit from that. And on a noon game at home, it's going to be good, especially after losing to the Bears in week 1. The Vikings are winning this one. It's a lock. Write it down for sure.
Yep. I can't agree with you more. My wife agrees with us. She said it was a win. My kids, however, said this was a loss, but I think they were just trying to get my goat. So,
all right. Well, my wife said this was a win. Again, I think this was just based off of their records from last year. And my kids said that the Vikings would win this one as well, even though I think that was more ice cream motivated than anything.
Well, I can sponsor that ice cream purchase if they win that game.
All right.
So I mentioned this a little bit ago. Week 8 and 9 on the road. Week 10 and 11 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're back to week 12 and 13 on the road. And I think this is where, for the Vikings, the proof will be in the pudding.
Mm-hmm.
If you win, even let's take those 6 games, 2 away, 2 home, 2 away. If you win 4 of those,
that's a lot.
I think you're a playoff bound team. If you lose anything beyond that, if you can't make it out with 4 wins.
Stretch.
I don't think you make the playoffs.
Interesting.
That's my hot take.
Well, what does the coin say for the Vikings at Green Bay in Week 12?
Week 12 at Green Bay. That's a win.
All right.
According to the coin.
I have a specific coworker who will laugh at that because he is a drunken Scotty. That's actually not fair. He's a Scotty, and he's a diehard Packer fan, and we have a lot of fun with that. But he would not like to hear that. I also think this will be a win for the Vikings at Green Bay. The Vikings have done pretty well in Green Bay in recent past. This is a noon game. Should be pretty easy. November 23rd, we shouldn't see snow yet, but it might start getting a little chilly.
That's my birthday.
Oh yeah, I always you're right around Thanksgiving.
I did think when the schedule first came out, I was like, man, that'd be fun to go to Green Bay on my birthday and watch the Vikings win.
You know, I might know somebody who could get the hookup to get tickets that aren't $1,000. If you were interested, my coworker
interested.
that I was just dragging on.
I'm always interested. I think this is a Vikings win as well, but only if that doesn't jeopardize my ability to get tickets. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Tim.
No, I don't think. I think I said this within the last couple of weeks in one of our episodes. I don't think the Packers are going to be that great.
Okay.
I think they'll be okay, but I don't think they're not going to be like the 15-2 Lions last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be 14-3 like the Vikings were last year. They may be good for 9, 10, 11 wins, somewhere in there. They may get a wild card spot. We'll see. But
yeah,
I think Jordan Love is meh.
I think we've seen the peak of Jordan Love, or at least what we're going to get from him. He may be a borderline Pro Bowl quarterback for the rest of his career. Good enough to keep getting pretty decent deals, but I think they overpaid on his current deal. Yeah, I think Jordan Love is fine. He is a Sam Darnold level quarterback, and that's Sam Darnold maybe early with Kevin O'Connell, not late with Kevin O'Connell. You know, like, yeah, he's fine.
My wife and kids both picked this as a win, and I'm pretty sure when my daughter picked this one, I high-fived her, and I'm like, yes, you better not pick against the Vikings in that game.
My wife and kids also both picked this as a win.
So I think this is the only time that we all
No, there was one.
Oh, I thought that was a loss.
Week 2. Oh,
Week 2.
Yeah, I think.
Week 2, you're right. Yep. Sorry. For some reason, in my very lame.
Yep. I also jumped the gun in what you were saying. You were going to say we all picked a win.
We all picked a win.
Yeah, yeah. I took it as we all picked the same. But yeah, week 2 and week 12, I think, are the ones that we all agree on a win, which is pretty cool. All right, week 13, 3:05 game in Seattle against the Seahawks and Sam Darnold and all that fun stuff. The coin says this is going to be a loss.
Okay.
And I agree with the coin. I think this one's going to be tough. I said earlier it's tough for teams not on the West Coast to travel to the West Coast. The Vikings, I think last year played in Seattle and they won, but it was a very close game.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's just you can't win them all. And the Seahawks only got better, I think. I think Sam Darnold is an upgrade over Geno Smith. Even if he's not, Vikings version of Sam Darnold, he's still going to be a better quarterback than Geno Smith, who was okay. I just think the home field advantage gets the Vikings this time, and the Seahawks win this one.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I wish I could pick differently, but late November on the road, it's probably going to be rainy, outdoors, West Coast, all of the above. Just doesn't bode well for a Vikings win. So I have that ending a 5-game win streak at that point.
Nice.
And at this point in the season, I've got the Vikings at 5, 6, 7, 8 wins.
Okay.
And 4 losses. So 8-4 going into week 14. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and I'm the same, 8-4, which is crazy to think that
we've picked some different games, but yeah. We picked that same 5-game win streak.
Yep.
So coming off of that loss against the Eagles, which both of us picked as the lock to lose, We've got that 5-game win streak.
I think you're onto something with that. 2 at home, or the 2 away, 2 at home, and 2 away. That 6-game streak. I think you might be onto something in that being like a microcosm of who the team really is. And if they can come away with more wins than losses in there, then that means they're a playoff team. And I think you said 4 wins out of those 6, then they're in playoffs.
That was maybe a little conservative on my part.
But I think you're onto something. Like if they can do well in that stretch, that means they're a decent team and they should make the playoffs. And it's fun that we both are pretty high on the team and we both predicted the same amount of wins and losses in that stretch too.
And we have them at 5-1 through that stretch. Mm-hmm. You and I both do. So I'm excited to see how that fares for them. I think, again, that'll tell us a lot about how this team will fare in the playoffs.
Yep. All right, 5 more games left in the regular season. I think I flipped for the Seahawks. What does the coin say for the Vikings hosting the Commanders on December 7th?
Heads.
Coin says it's a win.
Coin says win.
That is a day that... Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Anyways.
We forgot to update real quick our family's picks for the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
My wife said loss. My daughter said loss.
My kids said loss, but my wife said that would be a win.
Okay. So your kids said loss. We'll just update this as we go. I think your wife might have the best record prediction.
So far, maybe. All right, Commanders. The coin said win.
Coin said win. I say win.
Nice. And so do I. I think the Commanders, we've said this a few times so far, that I think this team is very similar to the Vikings, but I think the Commanders are also very similar to the Vikings. Mm-hmm. Same experience of quarterback in terms of years, but not in terms of NFL plays, because obviously Jaden Daniels has played a full season, whereas JJ played a few plays in the preseason game and then was injured. Coaching staff, Dan Quinn, he's the Commanders coach, right? Mm-hmm. He did lead the Falcons to a Super Bowl appearance at one point. He's a good coach. They did lose that famous 28-3 Super Bowl game. But I do think this is at home. The Vikings will have just proven to everybody that they continue to be a good team with a good record so far. I think at this point, JJ and JJ are showcasing their chemistry together. I think Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones are really coming into it. Barring injury, I think the Vikings are about to start cooking, and they're definitely going to win this game against the Commanders.
Yeah, and I think I would add, I know we're like running real long here, but if you're still with us, man, you are a true Skol hopper, and we appreciate you. I think the Vikings are a few years ahead of the Commanders.
Okay.
The Vikings have had their coach now for 3 years, and he's locked in. He's got it going on. The Vikings have a star wide receiver that wants to be here. It's not Terry McLaurin trying to get out.
Yeah.
The Vikings have their stadium. I think I saw just this week that DC just approved some big Commanders stadium in DC. So not even in Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
But in the District of Columbia.
Good for them. That's really cool.
Which is a big deal, I think. But again, there's all these exciting things happening that I think will probably lead to some hype and some success later on. But I don't think it's going to lead to success now. I don't think there's this I don't think there are all these Hail Mary moments like they had against the Bears last year, where they get these magical endings. And that was hilarious, by the way, and it still makes me laugh that the Bears, whatever, I forget that guy's name, that was like taunting the fans.
Oh, yeah.
And then he ended up tipping the ball that the Commanders got caught in the end zone. But anyways, I think the Vikings are a few years ahead of the Commanders. I still think the Commanders are a good team. They could be a playoff team again this year, but I think they're not quite to where the Vikings are yet, and I think that experience, I think that stability in the Vikings organization bodes well. Let's not even. I mean, we could sit here and talk for an hour about ownership. I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like the Vikings ownership is tops in the league, and the Commanders just got rid of one of the worst owners ever.
They upgraded for sure. Yeah.
I think new ownership, new coach, new stadium, all that it's happening. There's maybe some good momentum happening in DC, but I don't know that it will affect the product on the field immediately. So,
yep. My wife and children both said the Vikings would beat the Commanders as well.
So this is another unanimous win across the board. Coin, you and your family, me and my family.
Yep.
All right, so we got 4 games left.
Yep.
Going into week 15, 2-game road trip again.
Yep.
This time traveling to Dallas on Sunday night.
I will say, before we dive in, I would rather finish off with a 2-game road trip and then a 2-game home trip. Because you never know. Those last games, I mean, you need everything you can get.
Yep.
Even if it's wrapped up before then, like, it's nice to know, like, okay, we're at home. So the Cowboys. Coin. Is it me or you?
Me? You?
Okay.
You?
Me, you.
I'll do it. Oh, no. That's on the floor. It is tails.
Ooh.
That's a tails. That's a loss.
All right. The coin says that the Vikings are going to lose to the Cowboys in Dallas on Sunday night, December 14th. I disagree. I think it's going to be a win for the Vikings. The Cowboys are, like, quietly a huge laughing stock of the league. There's not much difference between the Cowboys and the Browns. And, yeah, maybe you can point to a record and be like, the Browns are obviously way worse. But you know what? No, because the Cowboys are terrible, too. They have one of the worst owners in the league, and definitely one of the worst GMs in the league. Oh, wait, they happen to be the same person. They can't figure it out. Dak is the Kirk Cousins of Dallas, which would have been really offensive to me 2 years ago. But you know what? It's true. I don't believe in the Dallas Cowboys, and I definitely don't think they're going to beat the Vikings this season.
Yeah, I agree. The Cowboys are terrible. This is an indoor game in December, which is nice to have. You don't want to be playing outdoors at this point in the season if you can help it. Not that any team gets a choice, really. But for the schedule makers to place the Vikings in Dallas at this point, I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
The Cowboys just aren't a good team. Micah Parsons wants out.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott probably wants out but doesn't have any other options. It's just a mess. They're a laughing stock. Like you said, quietly, though. It's not like they're the Browns. It's not like they're openly the laughing stock of the league. But I laugh at the Cowboys a lot.
Yeah.
And I expect to be laughing at how bad they play against the Vikings. I expect to have a Stephen A. Smith type of morning the next day.
I want to hear your impression of that when it does happen.
Okay. We'll have to recall this moment, and I'll do that. I will practice my Stephen A. Smith laughing at the Cowboys impression just for that episode.
Do you remember your other Cowboys impression from a couple years ago?
No.
It was a Dak impression, and I think we posted it to TikTok.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go. That still drives me nuts. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, if
What
it works for
cadence.
them. My wife and children both said that this would be a win for the Vikings against the Cowboys, so it's a Medicean sweep.
It is not in the Duth household. My wife said win. My kids were being stubborn. They picked the Cowboys to win this one. So.
All right, so the next week, the Vikings travel to New York, or actually New Jersey, to play the Giants on the 21st of December at noon. The coin says the Vikings are going to lose. The coin has not been very nice to the Vikings.
The coin has been a jerk tonight. Jeez. I don't like this.
I don't agree with the coin. I think the Vikings are going to beat the Giants. They played him in week 1, 2024, and, man, it was bad. It was the beginning of the end for Daniel Jones in New York. Funny enough, Daniel Jones ended up being a Vikings quarterback at the end of the season, and I kind of wish he was still with the Vikings right now. We wouldn't have those QB2 questions anymore. But, yeah, I think this end-of-season game is a win for the Vikings. Hot take, I do not think Coach Dable, who is the Giants head coach, right? Brian Dable, is that his name?
Yeah.
I think he will not be the coach for the Giants when the Vikings kick off. this game.
That's actually not a bad take because he was ranked the lowest on that list.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Kevin O'Connell and his staff were the best coach on that ESPN reporters list that came out this week, and Brian Daboll was 32nd out of 32.
That's rough.
So, yeah, I don't disagree with you that could be a possibility. I definitely think the Vikings win. My family has this as a Vikings sweep as well.
Okay.
So, yeah.
My wife said win, and my kids said win as well.
All right. So now we're into the final 2 weeks of the regular season. The NFL does this all the time. They like to stack those divisional games at the end of the season. It's fun, but it definitely creates some stress because, like, even at this point last year, like, the division was squarely in reach for the Vikings. And had they not, laid a huge egg to end the season, who knows what could have happened.
Yeah, last year the Vikings entered Week 18 against the Lions. All they needed was a win, and that would have got them the number one seed. And the lights were too bright for Sam Darnold. And the rest, it's a team sport.
Yep.
The rest of the team too, but man, it was rough. It made it easy to move on to Sam Darnold. Either way, what does the coin say for the Vikings to play the Lions on Christmas Day, December 25th?
Let's see. Oh, yeah, this one's on Netflix, too, isn't it?
And it's a Thursday night game. The coin says...
I haven't even looked yet.
Oh, man.
I don't want to look.
The coin's wrong anyways.
It's heads!
Oh, the coin's not wrong!
Yes!
We're good again! Well, I will say, as of right now, before I reveal my win-loss record for this game and the last game, I'm predicting through the Giants game, the Vikings to be 11-4.
Okay.
Pump that up to 12-4 because I think the Vikings are going to sweep the Lions this year.
Wow.
I think the Lions are going to have a rough year, and losing all or most of the division games is going to be indicative of the Lions season. I don't think this will be a blowout by any means, because when you have Dan Campbell as your coach, even if you are completely defeated, you haven't won a game all year. I'm not predicting that, but even if you haven't won a game all year, you're still going to fight because he's that kind of coach. But I do think the Vikings will outcoach the Lions. They will outclass the team, and they will definitely be more than playoff bound by this point in the season.
So I picked the Vikings to win at Detroit. I think Detroit at this point will still be in the playoff conversation, and I think they're going to rally under Dan Campbell. I think they're going to come out and bite some kneecaps. I think this is a loss for the Vikings. I think, unfortunately, the Vikings will kind of crumble. I think there might be some injuries, unfortunately, that will pile up. Hopefully not. But I don't think it's going to rock the boat too much. I think it's one of those that you're like, well, it's all right. We're still kind of in control of our own destiny. We'll still make the playoffs. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I think this one is a loss. And I don't know that you sweep the 15-2 division champions from last year immediately one season after that. I think they're still a good football team. I think the NFC North is going to be a tough division. I don't know that any one team will be like head and shoulders above the others. I think it'll be kind of like it was last year, maybe even at the beginning of the season where it was like, man, all these teams have a winning record.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not at the end of the season, obviously, but at the beginning, maybe towards the middle of the season, that could be the reality.
And that's what it was, in 2024.
So,
my wife and children both disagreed with me. They say it's a loss against the Lions. They also both predicted a season sweep for the Lions over the Vikings this year.
Okay. Well, my wife has this as a win.
Ah, okay.
So I like that. And so does my daughter, actually. She was kind of ragging on the Vikings there for a while, and she's kind of come around here at the end. So,
all right, final game of the regular season, hosting the hated border battle rivals Green Bay Packers. The coin says that the Vikings are going to lose. Also, I want to congratulate the coin. We are now 1 full year removed from the
No
most
beer.
recent beer swim for the coin. So, good job, coin. Also, I guess I don't remember. You probably predicted a terrible season for the Vikings, so we kind of hate you
8-9.
anyways. 8-9. Yeah, I definitely disagree with the coin overall in the season. I also disagree with the coin this week. I think the Vikings are going to end the season on a 5-game win streak, to include beating the Packers on a yet-to-be-determined day and time in Minnesota.
So your final record is 12 win?
13-4.
13 win. Okay. So I also think this is a win. Again, coming off of an ugly loss, not an ugly loss, but a tough loss, we'll say.
Sure.
Against the Lions. I think the Vikings are going 12-5. I think we're pretty similar in our records there. I think we're both really optimistic about this team. I'm excited to see how they play. I think there's no doubt that this team makes the playoffs in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, given both of our records, there's a strong chance that they win the division.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and
I think
I'll get to that.
We talked about that, I don't know, a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get our family picks in here quick. My wife said win. My kids said win.
And my wife and kids also both said win for this one. On the flip side, my wife and kids both predicted a season sweep of the Vikings over the Packers as well. So did I. But, yeah, should be a fun season. I did go as far as to predict their division status and how far they would go in the playoffs.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I don't know if you did. My wife did as well.
I'll go
I
off
guess
the
my
cuff.
kids did as well. So my kids predicted that they'd be a wild card team, so whatever that means, second or third in the division, and that they would make it to and lose in the divisional round.
Okay. So they win in the wild card, your kids, and then they lose in the divisional. Okay.
My wife said that they would at least play in the wild card round. She didn't. I guess that means they're not number one seed, whether she meant that or not. That they would win in the wild card round and in the divisional round, and then she doesn't clarify after that. So I think that only means a prediction of a loss in the NFC Championship game.
I'll put it down as a question mark for now.
Okay.
What did you predict for the
So I
playoffs?
predicted Vikings are going to win the division this year. They're going to be the NFC North division champs. They will be the number 2 seed in the NFC.
Okay.
And I think the number 1 seed will be like a surprising team like the Commanders or somebody else. I don't believe in the Lions in 2025. I don't think they'll repeat as a number 1 seed, but I do think the Vikings will somehow make it to the number 2 seed. It's hard to be number 1 with 4 losses. And I couldn't bring myself to fully predict the end of the season, but I do think they'll reach the NFC Championship game.
Which
I think
means
this is the hump buster for Kevin O'Connell and his playoff victory ability. I just think as a number 2 seed with the season I'm hoping they're having, I think they're going to reach the NFC Championship game. All bets are off after that.
Before I talk about my predictions, here's what I think we should do. I think we should both flip the coin
Okay, for the playoffs?
for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that an 8-9 team could make the playoffs. They'd have to be the wild card.
It happened last year, I'm pretty sure.
So let's flip, and
All
let's
right.
let's both flip at the same time. Let's see what happens. This could be
I don't
interesting.
know. What do we do?
I don't know. We'll flip again, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
You're flipping wrong though. You have to put heads up. You always put heads up.
Okay, well.
Okay, never mind then. It's heads.
Okay, so the coins agreed and said the Vikings would win in the wild card.
No,
round.
so I think I clarified. This meant they would make the wild card as
okay,
an 8-9
okay.
team. So they are in the wild card. Now I think you flip for that game, and I'll flip for the next game if they win this game.
Oh, that was a terrible flip.
Now you put heads up for the start.
Oh, okay. The coin says they're going to win in the wild card round. Kevin O'Connell's first playoff win.
and they lose in the division.
I like my coin better.
All right. I think 12-5 is definitely going to get them to the wild card. I think they win wild card. And I think they win divisional too. I'm going quickly through this. I'm also not going to call anything beyond that. I like the Vikings' chances of getting to the NFC Championship game. But at that point, I think it gets personal, you know? Especially for us Vikings fans who've experienced our team getting there and then just having your heart ripped out.
Damn.
Exactly. So we're going to just leave it unwritten. And my family didn't make any predictions that way.
Okay.
So I don't have anything for them. But I like what we have here. And I want to get to football.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
excited.
do it. The night practice was tonight. We're seeing all the highlights on Twitter. Apparently it was relatively okay. I guess the offense is still a step behind the defense overall, which I think says more about the defense, the Vikings defense, than anything else. Vikings also didn't have Justin Jefferson. They didn't have TJ Hawkinson. They didn't have Ryan Kelly. I don't know if they had Will Fries tonight. So you just don't know exactly what we have yet. I'm excited for preseason football. I'm super pumped for you to go to the Texans, Texans, right?
Texans, yep. Next week,
Yep.
Saturday. That'll be great. I'm bringing my kids. That'll be their first game at US Bank Stadium.
And that'll be just your third game at
time.
US Bank
Yep.
Stadium, right?
Third time there. Yep.
First time without me, so
First
I'll
time
be there in
without you.
spirit. Maybe we should print off like my face and you can like hold it around.
I'll FaceTime you.
Okay. So I'll be there with you in spirit.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited to, expose my kids to that and all the excitement that comes with an NFL game. It's preseason.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, but I think it'll just be fun.
I did mention, I think yesterday to Miranda that, Evan and Raven, they're going and they got really good tickets or really good priced tickets, and they're still nosebleeds, but like it's still like less than $50 just for the tickets. And she was like, maybe we should do that. Not this year, but like it'd be super easy and less stressful to bring the kids, because I want my kids to be around it, but man, it's tough to like try to watch the game while still being a good dad. And I don't know if I fully succeeded in that last year when we went to the Lions-Vikings game, but I think a preseason game with young kids, that's probably like the cheat code. You'll have to let me know what you think of your experience.
Yeah. So I won't be able to do that on episode 100.
Yeah.
Because episode 100 is coming out next week. We took our brew hop tour a few weeks ago now with friend of the show, Forrest.
Yeah.
We hit 10 different breweries over 2 days across the northeastern part of Iowa. It was awesome. We've got that footage all put together, and that'll be coming out next week for episode 100. But in episode 101, I'll definitely make sure to circle back around to the preseason game and let you know how that was. And maybe I'll share some footage or something with that as well.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. I also want to hear your thoughts on this beer that we had tonight. Oh no, I still have some beer left.
You still have some?
Yeah.
Lucky.
What was this again? It's from Reunion Brewery.
Reunion Venue Hopper Pilsner.
Okay.
Which is a Mission Creek Festival beer that they brew every year for that music festival. Here are my thoughts on the beer. It was so good that I forgot it was even there. Like I just kept drinking it, and I was like, it's good. And it's like, that's not a knock on the beer. I think it's just solid, easy drinking. And I think that's probably what they want it to be. Like they want people to just forget the fact that they're drinking it, and they want them to have a good time at the music festival. Yeah. And that's how I felt sitting here predicting Vikings games and going through pretty much 3 of them. So good stuff.
This is really good. And for me, I love a good hazy IPA, and I like the hoppy flavors. And I also really like a nice, refreshing, no-nonsense Pilsner. The Coors Light, of those things. Mm-hmm. This is the best of all of those worlds.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want to go overboard. I think I want to have like another handful of these beers, in the near future to really say what I think I'm going to say right now, in that this is one of my favorite beers.
Wow.
And I know it's crazy. I'm finishing my 3rd can, that's a little insane to say, but the hoppiness and the refreshingness of the Pilsner, especially in the summer, like a hot day, Oh man, dude, this might be it. So Reunion, you really did it. You broke me a little bit. This is a freaking fantastic beer, and I love it a lot.
Yeah, really good beer. Really good episode, albeit kind of a long one.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us.
But I'm excited for the Viking season. Hopefully we're kind of in the ballpark with 13 wins, 12 wins, somewhere in there. Playoff team, making the NFC Championship game. That would be awesome. No matter what, we're Vikings fans through and through, and we'll be here. And we'll be breaking down each game and looking forward to each one that's on the horizon.
Yep.
So,
yeah, good beer. Maybe best episode yet.
I'd say so.
Skol.